So, I have no idea what I want to do. So, I'm gonna draw a bit and see where it takes me. I do like the idea of possibly having a slower motion of something, but then doing it with a rougher brush, with a dry brush sort of look to it. I might see what brush I have. I don't know. But I don't know what that is. My default thing is thinking about like an eye blinking. Very easy to do that in a few different things, but it's it never looks quite as I want it to look, unless I'm rotoscoping something, which ends up taking more time. But the idea of having it sort of rough in the action and possibly even more exaggerated on the eyelashes sort of bit. Otherwise, there's like walk cycles. I've never been the best at walk cycles. I can do them okay, and if I take a lot of time, I can get it more interesting or exaggerated in different elements. If I had a good animation here, but all my stills are like walk cycles I don't have at home. But I don't know, maybe I mess with just sort of a general exaggerated walk cycle. It's just a frustrating thing to do without sketching it out first, and I have a habit of wanting to do everything sort of at once. Generally in a walk cycle, if you actually look at how the mechanics of walking have to work, you have like you have to lean and then let forward, and as you continue to move forward you push this leg back and land this one out here, and then as this leg moves backwards and this one moves forwards, the apex of the arch, or the hello dead sloth, gets taller up here. I'm just thinking, how are you doing, dead sloth? Hope you're doing good. Oh, I got 7 people watching. It's been lower recently, but I don't know. Anyway, different mechanics of walking, but if it's more exaggerated, I could have that going forward. There's also like slightly different if you're... Thanks. If you want to, if you like the music, hello, wait, what K? How are you doing? Dead Sloth, if you're interested, I forget if it's cassette or cassettes. Cassette. I'm doing okay, a little bit off, but I'm figuring out where I'm at with some stuff, and yeah. So if like this foot is at the forefront, you actually need to have it angle out a bit. And this one. Thanks. It just usually is me figuring things out with time. Also, you sort of counter. You don't move your arms with the arm that are forward. I don't know if this is where I'm going to end up for today, but as an act of balance, if you have one foot forward, your opposite arm is forward, because you don't walk with like your arms moving in sequence with your legs. Hello, Humnum World. I think when I said Humnum World before, I think I might have said Hummum World or something. Anyway, welcome. How are all y'all doing? There's a more active sort of chat going than it has been recently. Well, also recently I took a break of things. You're on a quarter system for school? I was on a quarter system for school when I did school stuff. This might, if I do this, end up being something that's like sketch it out a few ways over, or I do it in pencil and actually do a pencil test for first time in a long time, and some keyframes or something. I'm so used to just going for it. Here's a pencil. Somewhere, there it is. Pencil sharpener. Hello, Vinod Kumar. Vino D. Kumar. I'm not sure what your name is, but welcome. I don't use software to animate, I draw on paper. I do use software to like get the final thing. Usually I just go straight forward. This I'm messing with possibly doing keyframes in betweening, but usually I just go sort of straight forward, and so this is a slightly different approach maybe today if I'm messing with a walk cycle. Here, lean forward, and head sort of tilts back in this direction. That's sort of an extreme of it. Let's get closer in on this so you can see a little bit more what's happening. Where's that mess there? It varies. My process varies. For this sort of deal, maybe I should lean back a little bit. I've been animating since I was like in middle school in some degree. More actively the last like 8 years, 10 years, around there. Hardest to animate, just realistic movements of things, abstract elements, stuff like water. It's a mix. Where's this fit? Okay, I'm gonna try outlining this. I should do it in ink. for, let's see, what is it? Do I start with the first and last keyframe? I don't, it's a weird mix. It varies on what it is. A lot of the time, I'll just animate sort of in a direction, and then the first and the last frame is the same because it's a loop. This brush is not behaving great. Oh, wait, completely different with my trajectory today from what I intended. Because I'm working in loops most of the time. Thanks. This shirt, I'm not sure. I don't think this one's available, but if you're interested in various shirts that I have, you can go to my web store, which is traceloops.com/store, and there's a collection of various shirts and designs there. I don't know how this is gonna work out. I've not animated for shows or movies. My animation process isn't like the best suited for animating in like a team situation and such, because I'm animating on paper for the most part. I prefer animating listening to things just because it's a nice thing to do, but I can't listen to music so much while streaming and such, because it would be picked up by the mic unless I do headphones. So I just play music on my cassette tape. And have it playing into the audio. I can't hear the music that I'm playing right now. What do I feel should be changed in animation? I don't know. I like 2D animation. Let me mark down these two sides and use that as a reference point to then create. Or I could just do it this way. I don't know what needs to be changed in animation. I think a lot of people don't have a clear understanding of animation stuffs. A lot of people don't know how much work it is. Maybe that's what I feel should be changed. I don't have any particulars. I'm also not like heavily in the animation industry like as a career exactly. Like I don't know how the industry itself is functioning for the majority of the animators. Sort of a niche in between odd guy has found a place, but what got me into animation? I don't know, I just like animation and the format and that it's like bringing something to life. I don't know if I have a specific thing that got me into animation. I like cartoons and such, flip books, things like that. I enjoy. And seeing zoetropes, stuff like that, in their various instances. My experience growing up where it just was like, I like seeing this. I got really interested in voice acting and stuff like that, not for my own thing, but just seeing how things work and like how much of that industry is sort of repetitive. There are a lot of people that are doing the majority of voice acting. Like, it's a difficult task, and it's something that seems much easier because it's like you're just doing the voice, you're not acting in person, but it's like you have to encompass this character in a way that is expressive, and I don't know, it's an interesting career. I don't know if so like I'm not big on like the technicality of a lot of animation. I like a lot of art that's like an interesting, simple approach. I was really into Flash animation stuff in general when I was younger because that was like a slightly more accessible way to get into some animation. Okay, so here we have essentially the two edges of this animation. I guess I will be doing this sort of as a in-between or tweening thing. Oh, did I? Yeah, I started recording. Making sure I did. So now let's look at sort of the midpoint of what this would be, which will be these legs hitting approximately the same position and the head being in the middle and a bit higher, because as you walk, when you pull your legs together, you have less distance between them, so you push up, your crotch goes higher up, and so your head will go higher up. How exaggerated do I want to do it though? Actually, as this is moving forward, because you don't move your legs towards one another, when you walk, you bend so that you can lift up your leg. Let's actually just do this as some pieces of paper. Sort of in the mechanics of walking. This is a little tall. I'm going to actually do this one more rip. So you have this sort of pivot point up here. I don't know how easy this is to see. Let's add a little black tape to it so you can see what's happening. This is a really sort of convoluted way to go about this. Should have just mark on the paper, but this is a nice solid bit that you can see now. So in the mechanics, you aren't just pulling your leg in either direction. You have a foot that's sort of planted down and a foot that's more actively moving in the mechanics of walking. So if you have this foot planted down, you can't just like swing this one forward because it will hit the ground. you don't walk like this, you walk like that. And so this is just me realizing that I'm thinking weirdly about this walk cycle because I haven't done one in a while. But as this leg lands and this foot starts to move backwards, this leg bends and you pull that leg forward. Now that it's bent, it's a little shorter, and so you can clear the ground. This leg moves back, you start to extend that one forward, and then you land the foot and the process begins again. Hopefully that makes sense, or that I didn't do that completely out of the visible area of the frame. But as this leg now moves backwards and this one is moving forwards, it has to bend. And it bends as it's moving forward. And then it extends and lands. And then the process begins again and again and again. So at this stage, we're midway between, so both legs are approximately in like the same position. And this leg is as straight as it will be in direction of gravity. It's as perpendicular as it will be to the ground. This leg has to be a little bit bent. And which one? This, if I'm going this way, I'm saying that I'm moving from the first frame, and this leg is moving backwards. So kind of this guy, sort of exemplifying that. It's gonna be a little bit smaller. Also at that point, your foot is a little bit down. This might not be my best walk cycle, but it will happen. I'm also trying to exaggerate perspective, so I'm figuring things out a little bit. I don't have this completely figured out. This will end up being a little bit weird because ideally I probably should have just... I might redo that guy. Or just shift this over. Because this guy's going to be wobbling pretty heavily. And shifting his leg. Yeah. Okay, I might have to redo the positioning on this guy behind. I'm going to have to redo all this. Okay, my bad. I wasn't thinking. I was trying to do a shortcut sort of deal. Just so I don't have to reposition all of these after the fact. Which one's easier to keep in frame? Since I already got this guy as a clean outline, I think I'm just going to flip this guy, and this is a weird thing to figure out. That's what I was struggling with. Okay, let's just put marker for the crutch. Now we should be in better shape. That was me making poor choices, or just not thinking through things. Or a little bit of both, maybe. Okay. So now I can actually do this better. Why is that so off? This should land here. That should be the apex. Why is that so off? Anyway, it's close enough. Okay. Sometimes I get in the zone with animating, but I get, sort of generally speaking, kind of distracted or in weird states of mind. I don't know. I'm gonna clean this up. I have animation as something of a career choice. It's just an alternative sort of deal. Like I'm doing it in a less traditional trajectory and a more sort of like independent sort of deal. Yeah. There's a solid chance that I end up not liking this walk cycle, but that's okay. See how this goes. Yeah, work this out a little better. Feels like I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I think I have general direction running now. There's some here. Come on in. Don't want to try to erase with that. So concept was, unless I come back and change things, this is 01, 02, 03, 4, the paper, it's tracing paper, TRACE or TRACING paper, PAPER. No, you should probably tracing paper, and then I cut it in half, and I use a standard 3-hole punch. Here, you can probably see it better in this camera. Standard 3-hole punch. Now punch it down. The table itself is something that I made using just a dowel kit that comes with a drill that's slightly larger than 1/4 inch. It's like 5/16 of an inch, and then just glued these in as straight up and down as I could. That way I can use my own paper, and it's cheaper. If you're looking for prefabricated things, you can look for an Acme peg bar or Acme peg bar hole punch. But where that hole punch costs like $30 or $40, because I got one that was a higher capacity deal. You can get them super cheap, but to punch a bunch of holes at once, it's much easier to get one that's a little bit stronger. But the Acme hole punch thing, which you can find them on eBay, maybe some other spots that are more traditional animation specific, they end up being like $200. So it's a more expensive thing. And I've never used one, so I don't know, but it's a better setup because where this paper and this peg bar, it ends up just being 2 pegs that are round, which means that it has a little bit of give because these are also not perfect. Yeah, the punches are much more expensive, but they are better for holding your paper more accurately. This has a little bit of give, and because it's only 2, it goes in whatever direction. You can also buy pre-bought or pre-punched paper, but it's also expensive compared to just like printer paper. And it's going to be more expensive if you buy celluloid, if you buy plastic, like traditional cell animation stuff. I need one in here. I think maybe I need at least I can echo with this guy. Depends what sort of setup you're looking for. So I'm going to try this guy out. This is half the... That's a big jump. A little bit softer. Manage here. This is probably going to be a little bit rough. but it'll work. Okay, so now I'm going to come back and just flip these. And do them inverted. Might be a bit awkward. Okay. Sort of means that my pegboard isn't going to be in use, really. I'm going to get my light table. This tracing paper is a little bit more difficult to see through at times. That's just probably gonna have to do some cleanup position-wise. I like the idea of this being accurate. What's my favorite game? Game I've been playing most recently is Animal Crossing. Let's turn this down a little. I don't know if it's my favorite game. I don't know what my favorite game would be. The game that I've probably played the most time-wise and otherwise is Pokemon. I'm gonna finish this guy and then I'll go put a new tape in. Do you have a favorite game? Joy-Con drift. Yeah, that's not an easy solution. You can try using compressed air. I've had some success with that temporarily. But eventually I went ahead and got a Pro controller, and so I've been playing with that. I think I've just... So, most of the time I'd be using my Switch when I'd be on the train. and so I would carry it a little bit more haphazardly. I just like throw it in my bag or something like that. But I'm not going into the city in the same way that I used to, not as frequently. And so I've just been playing at home. And in playing at home, I just use my Pro Controller. Oops. It's all I also played Hades. Come on, man. Well, I was not thinking on that. Okay. This is super clear. Shouldn't affect anything. It might make it a little bit. Well, but I just was doing that on the back of the paper, which I did mess with a little bit more recently. The idea of using the front and back of the paper. Forget what I was saying. Played Hades. I replayed Super Mario Odyssey recently and enjoyed that. I replayed that because I was I got the like retro Super Mario pack thing where it was a bunch of the old games. Long Boy design. You like the Long Boy? I'm glad. Welcome. Hope you're doing good. I've been tuning into some of your streams here and there. Let's see, it is number 11. As much as anything, I just was trying to get let's turn that down. I want to make it so you have to plant a tree, which will be a while, but I was trying to collect whatever thing. I don't know what your actual thing is for the plant a tree option for the whatever. I don't have a super strong grip on how everything in Twitch works, but I was trying to slowly just like, I forget what points are called. Channel points? Is that what they are? The day is okay. Slow sort of start, but at where I'm at, I need to drop some stuff off at a mailbox. I got gifted a sub. Part of the time what I do is I just put it on and then I like work on things outside of it, but tuning in, watched you play some BioShock, which I played for the first time recently because it was on sale on PS4. I did not finish BioShock 2, but I finished the first one. Funniest thing that I saw recently regarding BioShock was someone saying like they picked up they read somewhere that Ayn Rand inspired parts of BioShock, and they were like, I really enjoyed BioShock, and then they read the book and they were like, this is not a good book. And I enjoyed that. That was funny to me. I have no idea what the permit stuff is like for getting the ability to plant trees. I'm guessing it varies a bunch depending on where you're at. There's a lot of lore in there. Just trying to think. I got what did I play most recently? I played Control and enjoyed that as a thing. Curious how this animation's gonna end up. It'll work, but not sure how well. One of the mechanics that I liked about Control is that you have a recharging gun. And I thought about that while seeing you play a little bit of BioShock, because I was like, well, I get sometimes tired of having to find ammo for things and such. Depends on the game. Played a few more shooters recently. Played through 2 Wolfensteins that were not super long games. I got them on PlayStation sales. And then Control was in the PS Plus bundle or whatever you call it. I think they got the monthly game, which you can play. I like collecting things in video games. Depends on the video game as to how much I collect things. Certain games I turn to be like a completist. Others I'm just like, whatever. And I'm not sure what really dictates that. This is 13. I like the backstory for BioShock. I don't know what the really liked the story for Horizon Zero Dawn. But if you're playing on Steam, I don't know if you have a PS4, but I think there's some free access sort of thing of that game happening soon, or is happening. But that's a story where I enjoyed the lore of it all and how it sort of built out and didn't explain what it was and then did over time. And that deals with collecting, because you collect a lot of materials to create things and such. Thanks for jumping in. Hope work stuff goes well. This is 14. Yeah, 2 more. I'll likely need to do some positioning adjustments. Once I scan everything. It's 15. Guess I'll end up with 16 of these guys. Where's number 1? Oh, 1's here. 16. Okay. Uh, I think what I'm gonna actually end up doing is just filling these in digitally. Let's get this back to be a little bit brighter. Okay. Yeah, this frames up. This one, right? See how this goes. But did it? I worked on it, and image capture. This in. I need to do something. Just a moment's time. Because this thing is messed up now. Widescreen. I'm actually gonna. Yeah, just a little tighter. Okay. Today's the 19th. Copy that over and change the file naming convention that I have. There. Now let's go. My computer's going a little slow, so choose that spot. 600. Let's go. It shouldn't take too long because I just have 16 stills. Scanning process won't take long, but the filling in will take a minute, but not nearly as long as if I did it by hand. Excuse me. Pick that up in a moment. After I sneeze a second time. Nope. Fell over here. That's all right. Just saw that I got a line that I should fix. And last one to scan. Need to actually change this name because I forgot to change the name of the file. Okay, now we're good. Come over here. Let's pull up Photoshop. Files, scripts, load files in stack, browse. Go to today's stuff. Get all those. Bring them in while those are coming. Grab me one of these bad boys. So 16 smooths, 1 sketch. 3/19/2021 walk cycle. It's weird writing things out. Sometimes it looks like it's wrong. Animation 16 frames, 1 sketch. Almost done. Scan it. Okay, let's crop these down for the initial moment of things. Change this to wait for an animation. Frames from layers. 1 second. Reverse these frames. Change the size, 1080. Save these out. You can get that extra. Okay. Stills, copy that, change the folder destination to the 19th. Change these names. Jump back. Darken. This is general sort of a wider crop, and then I'll come back and tighten it a little bit. Because there's a solid chance that I am off. That looks okay. Alright. So. Okay, anti-alias. Turn this tolerance up a good amount. Too much. Let's pull this loop brush. Where's the other gap? Okay, I'm gonna flip the tape. come back and do that darken thing again so I can get this a bit tighter. And this way? Not quite. Okay, leave that as is. And darken this a little. Make sure this is just 1080 guy. And not that guy. Did the wrong key command. That's gonna be too large. Okay. Save this out as insta. Render up those stills. Now let's see what this playback speed looks like at 12 FPS. So it might be a little bit jerky. Slow down. Is it because I have it set to... Yeah, let's try selective. That's a little better. Oh, and let's turn that from diffusion to pattern. Up 319. Save that out and come over here. Okay, making sure it hadn't been that size for that long. Browse. Left lines, 319. Pull this bad boy in and let's see what it looks like. This is playing back so poorly. There it goes. It is okay. Still a little loosey-goosey. There's some shaky bits, but looks alright. Okay. So let's go over my links. Okay. If you want to buy the stills from today, or if you want to buy a shirt that has these on it, variety of other merchandise, you can go to traceloops.com/store. If you want to watch this stream in full or other streams, as well as some other videos, you can find me on YouTube. I'm Traceloops there. The channel is youtube.com/traceloops. If you want to follow me on other platforms, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I am Traceloops on both of those platforms, TRACELOOPS, and you can follow me and see different versions of what you see here, as well as a few other things popping up here and there. If you are out wanting to buy something from the web store and you want to have it shipped outside the US, you can email me traceloops@traceloops.com. You can also email me with commissions, general questions, etc., etc. If you have just general questions and you don't really want to do a formal email or something like that, you can go to my Discord server. You can also message me here, but Discord server is in the chat there. It's a bunch of characters that are not memorable, so it's better if you just click the link. That way? I think so. Yeah, that way. When I'm pointing. Physically, I'm pointing at my computer here in the video if I point this way. then I think it's pointing generally towards the chat. Depends on how you're watching. If you're on your phone, the chat's down there or over there. I don't know. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Appreciate it. I will not be back tomorrow or Sunday. I've switched over to not doing the weekends because it is nice to not have to do this every day necessarily. Still enjoy doing it, and it's good practice and work to have some amount of accountability and such, but I'm taking breaks on weekends so I don't get super burnt out and make it so I just stop entirely. Yeah, so I'm gonna head out. Thanks for watching. Adios.